Grayling?
Oh yeah,
Do I have my
little
Arbalist on this
goober.
guy? I don't have the Arbalist on this guy. But,
Fortunately, I still have mine. Oh yeah,
delete. Alrighty,
gone.
welcome to this little tutorial. We're just going to go over an end game base building and like how to plan out your base. So Mr. Fajita and I have done a couple playthroughs together, and this is basically the foundation of all of our bases and how we plan it out. So first we have the cuddle cabin, which is right here, and then behind it we have our foraging area, storage area, and whatnot, and then right there is our boar breeding station. It is an absolute masterpiece. You'll get so many, you know, meat, leather scraps, and whatnot after you get 2-star boars up there. And then behind that, you can barely see it, is the eatery. So now, Mr. Fajita, let us
Boy,
go through everything and show them why we built it this way. First,
sounds
to
good to
this
me.
way. Don't worry, this is endgame, so there may be a lot of spoilers. Hint, there are. So, first of all, we have the Cuddle Cabin, because the best buff in the game is the Vested buff. And you won't have this Yule Tree or anything like that to start with, because that's a seasonal event. The hell? Because that's a seasonal event. But you're going to want to stack as much comfort items in one small area to get that comfort boost and get you, what, 23 minutes? And like, what's a max?
24.
24 minutes.
Recently, unfortunately, a lot of the rugs were nerfed, so you can't really stack too many of them together anymore and get a high level of comfort. I remember previously that our max level of comfort in here, I think at some point it was around 21 or 22, and now it's down to 17,
Yeah.
which is very unfortunate, but comfort is you're always going to want to be rested if you're traveling anywhere.
Yep. And to get max comfort, you need the best beds, you need the hearth, you need banners, Yule, rugs, furniture, hot tub, and then apparently a stone chair. But to set all that down, you have to be on a nice foundation stone. So when it comes to actually like putting the hearth, I mean, after we get through the third stage, I think we really revamp everything because we get the stone cutter, and then we can really get creative with our builds. Because I think right off the bat, it's very basic, very like wooden, and then when we can start using stones, it gets so much better. Is it the? No, it's the it's after the mountains is when you get the stone cutter.
No. So
No.
you get Stonecutter as soon as you get to what I call Tier 3. There's every boss is a tier. Eikthyr is Tier 1, the Elders Tier 2, Bone Mass is Tier 3, Motor's Tier 4, Yaglith is Tier 5, and lastly we have the Queen, who is Tier 6. Tier 3, before you fight Bone Mass, you get Iron, and with Iron you can make a Stonecutter. And like Grumps was saying, as soon as you get the Stonecutter, that's when everything changes. That's when your builds become fancy.
Yep.
That's when you get a lot of comfort as well.
Because you jump like what 5 levels, I think, with just a stone cutter.
You get a lot more comfort as soon as you get a Stonecutter.
Yeah, and then you get portals at the Tier 2, and I mean, it's really nice just to name them to what they go to. Those are the bigger biomes, and then where are our boss ones? Are they over there, or?
I think a lot of our boss ones were just marked and changed at some point, just because we never got around to building a little portal room to have everything sorted. But
Yeah. And
for
then
the
we
most
have
part,
a little flexing room, where we have
little
gold and
treasure
treasure and just basically everything around here. So, yeah, onward to the forge area, the crafting area, because at the beginning, look, we have a forge right there. At the beginning, it's very basic. You don't have a lot of upgrades to put down. We should have refilled all the sconces before we got here. But
yeah, that would help.
end game, you're going to have the workbench. You're going to have the forge. You're going to have this guy. This is the Mistlands, the Black Forge, and I think that's it.
There's also the Galder table, which we don't have right now.
Yeah. Because finding the materials for the forge and the Galder table are, it's not fun. It's Mistlands. It's end game stuff, but apparently it's much easier now. So
It is getting black cores is 20 times easier. Like you can actually find more than
Oh
one
wait.
or two in a single dungeon.
Oh, that's a rune table.
It is. It's a whole lot better now,
Yeah,
luckily. But
but
God,
yeah, starting with the
before it was foul.
workbench, you have the workbench plus all the accessories that you get all the way up until tier 7, because then you can put down the tool shelf, right? But like every
Yeah, tool
tier,
shelf at motor.
yeah, every tier you go up, you get another one of these. You have to put down close enough to this to upgrade it. So this one is level 5. Over here we have the forge, which is level 7. And basically, the higher level, the more things you can put down around it, the better stuff you can build and make. Which, when you build your armor, you don't necessarily want to max it out for the most part, because as soon as you get to the next stage, it's going to be void. Oh wait, here are the the
Bonus tip: never make or upgrade iron armor. It's just not worth it.
yeah.
Make root armor instead.
And it is smart to have all your storage underneath because, let's see, the stone, you take too much stone, you become encumbered, and then you have to slowly walk up. So making sure your storage is pretty close to everything you need to do will help you in the long run. Just, get from point A to point B and save time versus you gruelingly walking as slow as crap.
Another tip: until you get to black metal, you can fit 3 entire chests inside of a single 2x2 space, effectively making that 60 storage slots per square, which is very, very nice to have, considering any chest that isn't extremely specific is going to fill up very, very fast with constant progress.
Yeah, and how we have all these set up is, as you can see, they're 3 tall, but on the back, oh no, we use the 4x4. So basically, you go 3 across, put 1 on top, 3 across, put 1 on top, put 3 across, and then you can stack them really nicely like this. And it really helps to have a lot of storage, because basically anything you pick up in the game, you will be needing to use later in the game, or at least sometime around. You know,
Everything is always useful. You'll
yeah,
always find a use for something.
especially stone. As soon as you get that stone cutter, your entire chest of stone just disappears in a second. But if you want to walk
It
over
is.
to the forge area, all these are for coal. All those are processors. So those are the max tier processors that you get from um,
The planes.
the planes.
After killing Motor,
Yeah,
you use her tears to make them.
yeah, but they can process anything. And then, big spoiler alert: as soon as you get to the Mistlands, you get the Eater refinery, and this thing will do damage to your builds. It produces radiation that will spark out and hit things. Over
Now,
and over.
I ended up finding something out about this. Black marble is completely immune to the damage from the eatery. So if you want to build somewhere to store it rather than setting it out far away from your build, you can just build out of black marble, and it will do no damage to that. Every other structure in the game will be damaged by the radiation from the eater.
Yep. And then, as you can see, we have a dock because when it does come to going and finding places, as you can see on the map, it takes a long time to find everything. So we have a couple other extra elder locations and whatnot, but we got really lucky with the Yagluth and the Queen. But when it comes to transporting your metals, you cannot teleport them, so you must use a boat. So making sure you have a nice dock that comes out pretty far, because you get pretty big ships later on. Right off the bat, they aren't that big, but as soon as you get past Bone Mass, you get a nice skiff.
Yeah, as soon as you get iron, you get a really nice boat.
Yeah. So after the Elder, but yeah,
Oh yeah.
the third place that we have here that pretty nice to have is just a place for your food, because you'll be getting a whole lot of different recipes and stuff like that you'll be needing. So here, these are processing things for stuff from the plains. So that's where we put the wheat in. Is it wheat or is it? Yeah, I think it's wheat.
Barley.
Barley, yeah. But when it does come to making an eatery, we have this nice little receptionist, Greg. He's just absolute chat of a guy. He's been here forever. His brother Gary got killed by Boneman initially, so he is now more protected and was just living in his brother's shadow.
Whatever
Anyways,
you do, don't step under the mistletoe.
yeah.
He's a feisty one.
Anyways, this is what your end game crafting eating stations will look like. You need the stone oven, you need these iron racks, you need all these. These are just regular cooking stations that you get at the beginning, but most of your food will be made in the cauldron. As you can see by just everything there, especially the meat and other things like that. And when you come upstairs, I think that's where we have the meat station, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you're going to want to put these somewhere. They have to be indoors. You can't just have them outside like an animal. You know, that's a nice word. And whatnot. And, like, we like to keep it stylish. But when it comes to doing a lot of your crafting, you need to find things fast or quickly, or else you're just going to, spend a lot of time. So, doing the boar meat, deer and wolf, because you're going to get a lot of boar meat as soon as you get 2-star boars breeding. And then the cooked meat, pretty nice to have. Aquatic meat, just fish. Mist food, this is because we were just doing the Mistlands, and we were just...
There was so much
Yeah.
that we didn't have a chance to keep gathering wood to keep making storage, but
Yeah.
having a lot of storage and having storage specific to the building you're building is very nice, because having to run, anywhere to even get the stuff you need to craft is a little bit of a hassle, so keeping it in-house is very useful.
Yeah. And I don't think you really need a lot more food storage than this right here, because even here we don't have, everything fully loaded. I know there's sometimes it got a little loaded just because we just had a junk chest that we did everything. Oh, having a junk chest, so like when you come back from an adventure is amazing, because as soon as you do a junk chest with you and your friends, you load that thing up, and then you can go from there and sort everything. It makes it so much faster. But, yeah. So that's kind of the basics. So, you want your cuddle cabin. You're with, like, teleportation areas and whatnot. You want your foraging area, and then you want eatery. And that will definitely help you just make a much more functional base, rather than something that's a little disorganized and like you're just flying at the seat of your pants, And then you have your nice big foraging station, a little bit of a dock, and what's best, what we've done for getting wood and whatnot, is we flattened that. I don't think we really flattened this out, but we found a big flat area to just plant trees and absolutely cut them all down at the same time, because trees will do damage to other trees, and you'll get a lot more wood that way. And we burn through wood real fast, so having a nice big place like that is definitely really good. Or storage carts. You can see this is just a mess because we haven't gone through and got it sorted out. So yeah, any remaining tips or tricks or whatnot that you can think of?
Another one. Inside of your respawn area where you have your bed, it is always nice to have a chest with food or spare gear so that you can quickly grab it to go right back to your dead body after your unfortunate demise. We don't have one here, but in the previous rendition of this house,
they're in the.
Oh yeah, in the previous rendition of this house, we had something very, very similar, but less specific than this. It was very nice to be able to respawn, eat your food, put on your spare gear, and get back to your body in one piece.
Yeah, good stamina food
is
well, like 2 staminas and 1 hit point was good, I think, is what we were rocking. So like onion, bread, and something else. Oh,
get in there and get out real quick.
Yeah.
It was very nice to have that.
Yep. I know we have empty space and whatnot. This is not like 100%, awesome, but this is what we did. This is how we beat the Mistlands on pre-nerf, which sucked. But
God, pre-nerf was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god,
dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely foul.
Yeah. Base locations.
You never could get
base biomes. Ugh. So that's like plains, black forest. You will need one. No, you don't want not plains. Black forest. Meadows. The swamp is a little difficult because if you're building without a roof, everything gets wet and breaks real fast. Mountain is pretty easy. You just have to deal with some dragons every so often, but you should have a stonecutter then. You will need one in the plains for all the barley and the flax that you need to make. because that stuff is geolocked to that location, so you can't farm it here, farm it there. You also want a little farm next to your places so you can just do all the planting and whatnot. Mistlands, probably the hardest place to build a base because everything just does so much damage. We were getting our cheeks clapped left, right, front, and center by the Yalls. The Yalls hurt.
Luckily, their Yalls are very rare now and much less aggressive, luckily. But it is still hard to have a successful base there so that you can actually farm the foods that come from the Mistlands, which are the Jotun Puffs and the, what are they called, the Magishrooms?
Yeah, Jotun Puffs, Magishrooms. I mean, when it came to us getting the Ymir sap, I think we just ran from the plains to our route and then ran back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is just how we build our bases usually. This is how we, successfully beat things. I don't know how many days is this one. How do you check that?
164. I just seen a minute ago when it became daytime. But another tip is always build near water.
Yep.
You're never gonna wanna have to drag a cart that's, 3 or 4 tons full of iron and silver all the way through uneven land, which is borderline impossible. You're always gonna want to build next to water so you can have a dock and quickly get your metal from one place to another.
Yep. Especially, yeah. I mean, it's okay not to if it's just like a little jump off base, like mountains and stuff like that. You're not going to be building near water. However, here, your main base, building it on the shore, best option, best thing to do. It is one of the musts because as soon as you have to start sailing, you're going to want to be by water.
Oh yeah.
Also, fish apparently.
Fish are a lot easier to get now, I would say. Actually, another tip I have. Yeah, it's a bit rough, to be honest. You just gotta learn how to do it. A lot of people pull whenever they struggle, which you do not want to do.
Really?
It ruins your stamina. Yeah, whenever they struggle, even like a level 2-star pike, it's just gonna instantly your stamina is gonna disappear in less than a second. Another tip: if you're gonna build a big compound like this, make sure that every inch of it has coverage from a workbench. Because if it does not, then creatures will spawn inside of it. Mm-hmm. So you're always going to want to have some type of, I forget the name of it, but at least some type of workbench placed down somewhere inside of the compound, inside of that open space to fill it up so that nothing will spawn there. Yeah. The way you can check the radius of the workbench is pulling out a build item. You will notice on the ground there's a dotted line around the nearest workbench you're inside of, and you're just going to want to make sure that there's no area that you can't build in when standing inside your compound.
Yep.
That will ensure that nothing will spawn inside your base and, start breaking things.
Yeah. And even then, you still want to put fortifications for the random events that, they'll spawn trolls, bonermen, greylings, Grey Dwarfs, Fullings. Apparently now the bugs can attack you in the meadows. So
yeah, I think it works now. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
God.
We got that like 2 times doing it.
And
during
it never
the,
happened.
PTS.
We were so lucky.
Yeah.
I have PTSD from fighting those things pre-nerf, man. That was foul.
Dude, there's so many of them. It was awful. But
there was no chance to catch a break.
No, you couldn't because there would be 4 of them and they'd be constantly attacking you. And even if you try to roll away, they just come right at you because you had the scouts that could fly. And then the big guys were just, they were always coming at you.
Luckily, there's not a lot of those anymore either. Actually, now that I think about it, the only time I've seen them is inside of a dungeon. After the nerf. The soldiers?
Really?
Yeah, they're only inside of dungeons now. At least from what I've seen. They could spawn outside. Don't take that as a fact.
I know we fought a couple 1-star, 2-stars out just in the world, and that was horrendous.
God. I feel like it was every single one that we ran into.
Right?
Like, over half of them were a 1-star or greater, I would say. Yeah. It was, God, pre-nerf Mistlands. That is for men right there. Oh my
Uh-huh.
god.
That's probably going to be hard mode. And we already beat hard mode. Haha. If it is hard
We're
mode.
like that.
And the queen took 2.5 hours. That was stupid.
Dude, that took so long. Like, literally, you have to repair your weapons mid-fight. You cannot do enough damage.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
Except, I think if we had the bombs, we'd be a little bit more successful. Because apparently the
Those
bombs...
bombs, nasty.
Yeah. So, yeah. Any last final things, you know? Just,
Off the top of my head, I can't really say no.
yeah. Breeding
Nothing
station. That's our
very
hatchery.
much.
Because after you defeat Yagluth, you get eggs, and then you get chickens. Hold up, spoilers, you get eggs, and then you get chickens. And then you're going to just start doing that. So, I mean, we didn't really tame anything other than boars. There's not really a big reason to. Because locks, you find them, you go kill them. I mean, they're not that hard to kill once you get the combat system down. Wolves, I mean, they'd be nice pets, but like, I don't know, man. It just seems like too much of a hassle.
Only really if you find a 2-star, tame it, have it as base defense. Other than that, they're just kind of neat to have around, I would say.
Yeah, and we we started this base because we found a 2-star boar right off the bat, and I trapped it, and then we moved here so we could use it for resources, and yeah. Long story short, if you find a 2-star boar, don't kill it, trap it, breed it with a regular boar, 1-star boar. Eventually, you'll get 2-stars, and then you'll be absolutely rolling in the meat.
There will never be a chance rolling in the meat. There'll never be a time where you're gonna need more boar meat. You will always have enough.
Yes, and leather scraps. Even though you just get way too many leather scraps. So I think that's one of the only resources you can throw away pretty safely. Because if you need it, it's not hard to get. But yeah, alrighty. Well, I guess that concludes this one. That's just a quick little, end game base building, tips and tricks that we've come across and we've been successful with.